Starting on the pole for the Great American Race is a prestigious thing. So, how did the last 9 pole sitters fare? Danica Patrick opened up the Gen 6 era by becoming the first woman to win the pole in the Daytona 500. Danica Patrick had the fastest single car time when it comes to Daytona 500 qualifying over the Gen 6 era. Patrick probably had the best race of her career, leading 5 laps en route to an 8th place finish with a 113.4 driver rating. This was in stark contrast to how she ended her career 5 years later. In 2014, Austin Dillon won the pole and the 3 cars returned to the Cup Series. During the race, he led 1 lap en route to a 9th place finish and had a driver rating of 83.4. 4 years later, he went out and won the 500. In 2015, Jeff Gordon ran the fastest qualifying time of Daytona 500 qualifying in the Gen 6 era, but that was because he had draft help. This was a great way for Gordon to start off his retirement tour. Gordon led 87 laps and had a driver rating of 106.4, but got caught up in a last lap crash and finished 33rd. In 2016, Chase Elliott became the Daytona 500's youngest pole sitter in history. At just 20 years of old, the son of Awesome Bill, who was replacing Jeff Gordon, was destined to do great things, but not in the race, as he crashed on lap 20 and ended up finishing the race 40 laps down. He was able to lead 3 laps, however, before finishing 37th, the worst in the Gen 6 era of Daytona 500 pole sitters, and recorded a driver rating of 43.7. Each of these first 4 pole winners of the Gen 6 era created great storylines. And some people thought that was a little suspect, and they thought maybe it was rigged. And so people who bought onto this conspiracy theory thought that Daniel Suarez would win the pole in 2017, be the first international driver to do so. So who won it? Elliott again. Elliott became the first driver since Ken Schrader in 1989 and 1990 to win the Daytona 500 pole in back-to-back seasons. This time around, Elliott fared much better, leading 39 laps en route to a 14th place finish with a driver rating of 93.1. In 2018, Alex Bowman won the 4th consecutive Daytona 500 pole award for Hendrick Motorsports. In the race, he did fine, leading 13 laps en route to a 17th place finish. He had a driver rating of 96.8. Not terrible for replacing the big shoes of Dale Jr. Byron made it 5 in a row for Hendrick Motorsports in 2019. And he did pretty good in the race, leading 44 laps en route to a 21st place points finish. However, that was a late caution that caused him to DNF, the first of which on this list, and his driver rating of 114 was the highest on this list. But in 2020, Stenhouse broke the Hendrick streak as he qualified on pole, and in the race he led 24 laps en route to a 20th place finish, and he had a driver rating of 84.8. Although Hendrick does supply the engines for JTG. In 2021, Alex Bowman closed out the Gen 6 era of Daytona 500 Poles Awards with the slowest speed of any of these winners. That was because NASCAR decided to slow the cars down. This was Bowman's second pole to go along with his 2018 fastest time. Out of these, Bowman did far and wide the worst, as he only led 1 lap en route to a 35th place points finish due to being caught up in an early big one. He had a driver rating of 40.7. only completing 13 laps. So in total, pole winners in the last 9 seasons had an average finish of 21.5, a driver rating of 86.2, and only 2 DNFs. The DNFs and the average finish is about what you'd expect, so poles didn't make much of a difference. However, they did lead a good amount of laps, which contributed to a decent average driver rating. Although they only secured 2 top 10s, the first 2 in the Gen 6 era. And though Chevy dominated the poles, they only won 3 Daytona 500s. The last driver to win from starting first was Dale Jr. in 2004. However, Greg Biffle won the pole, but he had his engine fail in the final practice. The last driver to actually win the pole and win the race was Dale Jarrett in 2000. So just remember, it's not about how you start, but how you finish.